The smell of old oil and shame followed Arthur everywhere he went. It was a thick, heavy scent that seemed to seep into the walls of the elementary school as he walked down the hallway for career day. He tried to brush the dust off his trousers, but the grease was stubborn. It lived in the creases of his skin like a permanent map of his failures. Every step he took in his heavy, duct-taped boots felt like a thud of reality against the polished linoleum floor. Subscribe if you value the quiet sacrifice of a parent. Arthur took a seat in the very back of the classroom. He tried to make himself small, but in a room filled with fathers wearing tailored navy suits and smelling of expensive sandalwood, he stuck out like a broken thumb. He saw the way the other parents leaned away from him. He heard the muffled giggles from the kids in the front row. But the sound that hurt the most was the silence of his own son, Leo. Leo wouldn't look back. He kept his head down, staring at his notebook, wishing his father was anyone else. For 5 years, this had been Arthur's life. To the town, he was just the man who lived at the edge of the scrapyard, a man who traded his dignity for piles of rusted iron. They didn't remember the man he used to be, the brilliant engineer who held 3 patents before he was 30. They only knew the man who had supposedly blown his chance after a massive lab explosion ruined his reputation and his finances. Arthur didn't tell them that he had taken the blame for his team's mistake to save 5 young interns from prison. He accepted the poverty. He accepted the dirt. He accepted the struggle as his path to redemption. The injustice in the room felt like a physical weight when Mr. Sterling, the town's wealthiest developer, stood up to speak. Sterling adjusted his gold watch and looked directly at Arthur with a smirk. "Students," Sterling began, his voice dripping with fake concern, "success is a choice. You can choose to be the person who owns the building, or you can choose to be the person who crawls under it to fix the pipes. Look around this room. Your future depends on your standards today. Don't settle for the dirt." The classroom erupted in a chorus of snickers. One boy whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, "I hope I don't smell like a garbage truck when I grow up." Arthur felt the heat rise in his neck. He looked at his hands, calloused, scarred, and stained. He thought about the nights he spent in his freezing garage, working by the light of a single bulb, skipping dinner so Leo could have new sneakers for gym class. He thought about the 3 years he spent perfecting a single turbine blade made from recycled scrap, a design that everyone said was impossible. But just as Mr. Sterling was about to sit down, the heavy classroom door creaked open. The principal entered, but he wasn't alone. Behind him stood 4 men in dark, formal military uniforms, their metals clinking with every step. The air in the room shifted instantly. The laughter died. The snickering stopped. The lead officer, a general with white hair and eyes like flint, didn't look at the bankers. He didn't look at Mr. Sterling. He scanned the back of the room until he locked eyes with Arthur. Like this video if you believe that justice always finds its way home, no matter how long it takes. The general walked past the front row, past the wealthy developers, and stopped directly in front of Arthur's cramped desk. To the absolute horror of the room, the general removed his cap and snapped into a rigid, respectful salute. "Chief Engineer Thorne," the general's voice boomed, "the prototype was tested this morning at the desert range. Your thermal shield didn't just work, it survived a direct hit. You've done what the billion-dollar defense firms couldn't do. You've created a way to bring our boys home safe. The Secretary of Defense is on a private line waiting for the man who built a miracle out of a scrapyard." The silence was so deep you could hear the clock ticking on the wall. Mr. Sterling's mouth hung open, his face turning a panicked shade of red. Leo finally looked up, his eyes wide, his mouth trembling. He didn't see a grease monkey anymore. He saw the hero he had been living with all along. Arthur didn't stand up and brag. He didn't mock Mr. Sterling back. He slowly stood, his joints popping from years of hard labor, and looked at the general. "I'll take the call," Arthur said quietly, "but I have to finish career day with my son first. My time belongs to him." The general nodded, stepping back to wait in the hallway like a bodyguard. Arthur turned to the class, and for the first time, he didn't hide his hands. He held them up for everyone to see. Mr. Sterling is right about one thing, Arthur said, his voice steady and calm. Your life does reflect your standards. But your standards aren't measured by how much money you make. They are measured by what you are willing to endure to do what is right when no one is watching. The dirt comes off with soap. A dirty soul stays with you forever. Arthur didn't leave that day as a millionaire, though the contracts would soon make him one. He left as a father who had finally cleared the smoke from his name. He walked out of that school with Leo holding his hand, and for the first time in 5 years, Leo didn't walk 10 paces behind. He walked right next to the man in the dirty boots, proud to be covered in the same dust. Comment the word pride if you believe that a person's character is more valuable than their clothing. Your life reflects your standards. Subscribe if you value the strength of those who rebuild from nothing.